energy. There's so many different layers to why we're doing what we're doing. And so I just thank you. And, we appreciate your valuable expertise coming from that diverse backgrounds. Why don't we just introduce everybody so we could see the groups that are with us. We did have some conflicts this month, but we are glad those who could attend. And I'm Melissa Perrott from Renewable Energy Long Island. Happy to be here and part of the coordination of this New York State network. And I'll pass it on to Dan.
Awesome. Thanks, Melissa. Yeah, Daniel Busey, program manager here at Renewable Energy Long Island, and self-proclaimed green building nerd. So any green building questions, that's my bread and butter. That's where I like to spend most of my time in the world. So feel free, throw any questions you have in that regard my way. I'll pass it over to Joe.
Thanks, Dan. Joe Montori, I'm the Executive Director of Sustainable Putnam in Putnam County, and I'm going to be actually speaking today about my experience and Putnam County's experience with the Clean Energy Communities Program and Climate Smart Communities programs. Oh, I guess I need to pass it on. I'll pass it on to Kate.
Thank you. I'm Kate Rogers, Deputy Supervisor for the town of East Hampton, and now I'm going to say it, a Train Climate Reality Project leader. And I will throw it to Joshua. No?
Sure.
Okay.
I'll happily take that baton. Hi, Josh Kleinberg, New York League of Conservation Voters. I'm here with my colleague and co-conspirator Ella Nielsen. We're focused on the climate smart communities aspect of things. We're in 10 counties where we're meeting with registered communities, some new, some who've been lapsed, and in trying to encourage them to become certified by pointing out the successes that other certified communities have come by as well. So excited to hear the presentation today, and I will pass it along to Brad Tito.
Thanks, Josh. So hi, everybody. Good to see you all. I think I know most of you, but for those I don't know, hi, I'm Brad. I'm the Director of Community Energy at Power Market. But before this, I spent 7 years at NYSERDA on the communities team, and had a large part to play in managing the community Clean Energy Communities program for many years. So familiar with all the great work that's being done around the state, and just still inspired and blown away by the level of traction that the programs have gotten, and love to see this as like a way to build the appetite of these local officials to gain some early successes, to have the will to proceed and to do more, and to feel and enjoy the recognition and the rewards that come with local climate action. So I will pass on to David.
Hello, everyone. I'm David. I am environmental justice fellow with the OCCA. I have been doing research with related a lot to local action about climate change, especially related to clean energy communities, and in general local action regarding clean energy, and that's what brings me here. I'll pass it on to Amy if you want to say a couple
Hi,
words.
everybody. I am Amy Wyant. I'm the Executive Director of the Otsego County Conservation Association and a former Clean Energy Community Coordinator for the Mohawk Valley. I will be here, but only David will be on camera. So I figured I'd pop in to at least say hello, and I've got to bop around the office, but I'm listening, and if I have any comments, he will pop them in the chat for me, and I'm sorry that I couldn't be a little bit more focused today, but I'm excited to hear everything. So thank you. Let's hand it over to Amanda.
I'm Amanda. I'm from the Mohawk Valley Economic Development District. I'm the Clean Energy Coordinator for the Mohawk Valley. And in exciting news, we just got a DOE Make It Prize for the Mohawk Valley to bring in clean energy manufacturers. Right. And I will pass it on to, yeah.
Did you say Ella?
Yes, sorry. Did you go already? I'm bad at this.
Yeah.
Or anyone who's not on camera, other Amanda.
All right, Ella, are you able to introduce yourself or you're? Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Josh introduced me, but I'm Ellen Nielsen. I work for the New York City Conservation Voters Education Fund, and we do research on climate smart communities. And as Josh said, we're doing outreach right now with registered communities.
Great. And then I think Amanda also. Are you on?
Hi, I'm Amanda Laval. I don't know how many Amandas are on the call. I am a deputy county executive in Ulster County, and I work with Jen Metzger, who's our county executive.
And welcome. We're so happy to have you participating in this, Amanda. Thanks for joining. And Simon.
Oh, I'm sorry I'm late, so I wasn't quite sure where we were in the order. So you were doing introductions? Sure. My name is Simon Skolnick. I'm the president of the New York State Association of Conservation Commissions. And I'm located in northern Westchester County. That's where I live.
Excellent. And how about Nicole?
Hello, my name is Nicole Morris McLaughlin. I'm with NYSERDA's community and local government team. And also just wanted to let you folks know, you probably already know, but NYSERDA has submitted to the Public Service Commission our plans for the next few years. And the comment period has been extended until May 15th. So we'd love it if you took a look at that plan. If there's anything in there that you have questions about or comments about, we would highly recommend submitting those. If you have any questions about how to submit them, I'm happy to go through, like some slides or take you through the website. But just know that, it will affect the Clean Energy Communities program substantially. So, again, take a look at that. If you have questions, reach out to us, but, wonderful that you're all meeting and we love seeing this in action. So thanks for having us.
Nicole, could you drop a link in the chat to how we can, yes, add to those comments? And maybe what we could do, just thinking off the top of my head, is maybe we could we could record you, we could meet and you can talk a little bit more about this, and then we could send it out to everybody, because I think it'll be interesting to hear how to go about submitting the comments.
Okay, so my boss Ellie is here as well, so I'll pass it on to her, and she may have a little bit more information about the best way to do that. But I'll definitely drop the link into the website and some details as to like what to go press. Thanks so much.
Great, thank you, Nicole. Hi, Ellie.
Hello, I'm also on the communities and local governments team at NYSERDA, and Brad Tito handed us the torch. So if there are things that you like about CEC, I will claim credit for them, and anything you don't like, we'll blame on Brad. Yeah, so we can talk about it. NYSERDA is very explicitly prohibited from anything that might look like lobbying related to this. So we can just record how to submit comments at this point if you want, and really leave it at that. We definitely don't want to record anything about us sort of giving opinions or anything like that, because this is really supposed to be an unbiased stakeholder process, and we don't want to unduly influence anyone.
But I'm allowed to be biased, and so I have a lot of context on this. And so if anybody is interested, basically what it's saying is that the CEC program is going to come to an end in 2026, and that the funding is going to be completely transferred away from like local government climate action. I mean, it's going to go to DEC, but like there's no real plans for the money, and it's really unclear what guidance is going to be provided broadly across communities besides the Climate Smart Communities program, which is definitely important, but it's not necessarily something that every single municipality is interested in getting involved in. Whereas there was a very broad interest in the Clean Energy Communities program. And that's what got a lot of people started, so that they started looking at Climate Smart, and they said, let's get involved in that too. So it's kind of a stepping stone program. And the fact that NYSERDA is considering discontinuing the program is very concerning, should be concerning to every municipality in New York State, not just because of climate action and the climate crisis, but because of the devolution of funds from the state to the local governments. I mean, this is a great way in which to help local governments, generate more grant revenues so that they don't have to rely 100% on local taxpayers if they want to take some of these climate actions.
quick friendly amendment to what Brad said, which I will not comment on, but just one clarification. The current proceeding process is only concerning NYSERDA's budget and has no influence over DEC's budget. DEC's budget goes through a different process, so I just wanted to make sure that we're not saying that this is in any way raising money for DEC, because it's not. They go through a totally different process.
Fair enough. Thank you. Simon?
Yeah, I'm at the forefront of what Brad is saying. We represent local municipalities throughout New York State, and many of our members are CSE members. Can I have, Brad, is there any, this is the first I've heard of this event going forward, and I'd just love to get some more information on it. Where would I go to find that out?
Well, NYSERDA, you know, I love NYSERDA, but they did a pretty good job of burying it in these very obscure documents that, you know, you'd have to be sort of a specialist in regulatory affairs to even know that this was happening. So there is a link in the chat there, but we'll certainly have to do a lot of broad education. And Simon, you know, I think you're perfectly positioned as the head of your association to sort of distribute some more, you know, information, kind of get to the clear point that, you know, we really need to address the specific cancellation of the Clean Energy Communities Program. But we can talk more, and I'm sure Melissa will help distribute some additional information about it.
Well, I'm already thinking that I think we need to really broadcast this and have an educational component. And Brad, if you don't mind, I think you're perfect for this. And I understand NYSERDA, you can't lobby or really give opinions on this at all, but we can. And I think what you're saying is extremely important. This is the successes of all these municipalities. You could really, you know, gauge from these CEC programs, you know, if they go away and we haven't even met the CLCPA goals yet. So I'm feeling we could do a whole a webinar on this sooner rather than later. Would you be open to leading that for us and just really educating? We can talk about what would happen if the funding went away and maybe give suggestions on those, what comments, because I don't know how many people have provided public comments before. Maybe that's something we could do.
I'm happy to help in any way I can.
Okay.
Yes.
We'll plan that after this. I think it's important. May 15th is when we could comment till, so I think maybe we can get something on the calendar for early May, but I'll work with you separately on that, and then we could distribute. Okay, great.
I'm just curious, you said May 15th was the end of comment period to NYSERDA, is that correct?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, well, in that case, again, we are an educational association. We're not an advocacy group, so we can't advocate for anything, but we can notify our members that what may be coming down the pike, and they can certainly advocate to their local communities to send letters of concern to the appropriate state agency. So yeah, if you can get that information to me as soon as possible, I can get that out statewide. Thank you.
Great. And there are some great resources already being dropped in the chat too, if you want to take a look at that. And Julie Noble, I believe we need to get an introduction from you.
Hi, I'm Julie Noble. I'm the Sustainability Coordinator for the City of Kingston. I'm also the Vice President of the New York State Association of Conservation Commissions and work closely with Simon to help coordinate folks around the state. I manage our clean energy communities and climate smart communities programs here in the city, all of our mitigation, adaptation, and resiliency work. And I'm happy to be here. So thanks for having me.
Wonderful. And did I miss anybody? Anybody else need to introduce themselves? Great. We do have a couple minutes of one thing that was recommended is a just chat, but I feel like we did get some really great information by NYSERDA. But does anybody have any other questions or anything that you'd like to add before we jump right into our presentation?
Maybe one question for Kate Rogers is, how has everything gone with the completion of Sunrise Wind and the first offshore wind project in the US? Have, I don't know, tempers flared? Is everything going smoothly in the town of East Hampton? What is the general response right now to this project's completion?
Well, we had a well-funded, extremely well-funded opposition to the project from the beginning. But we had our construction completed our part of it, which was the 4.5 miles of the cable traversing under our beach, 85 feet under our beach. That was done with horizontal directional drilling, and then going through the streets of our town to a new substation that was built, and along the MTA right away as well. It was the most well done construction project that I've ever had done in my town. The Department of Public Works, I have, you know, if we had time, if you could just give me a second, I will show you a before and after photo of what the streets look like after the restoration. There was so much because of the Public Service Commission and the process that a project, a utility scale project goes through. Every Department of State is involved, and then of course there's BOEM offshore. So it was a lengthy, I was a party to the proceedings before I was elected. I was Win with Win, which is an advocacy group that was formed to help the disinformation campaign. And when I'm talking about well-funded, you know, we're talking about folks that amassed $1 million in a weekend to fight the wind farm and put out misinformation through the Mercury group, counter publicity campaigns that they run. We now have a beautiful road, beautifully newly paved road, new plantings, and we flipped the switch. The governor flipped the switch just recently, and now clean energy is coming in for 77,000 homes. We won every lawsuit. It was a real hard battle to get to this point. Then I got elected. Then I was the liaison to the project. So fortunately, I was at the project every day, every week, weekly compliance meetings, monthly compliance meetings. And I don't think that gets articulated enough, the kind of oversight that the Department of Public Works puts on this type of project. We just received our first payment for the town of $700,000, which will go to environmental projects. And the hamlet of Wainscott, where the cable came through, has a dedicated 5.5 million fund for we're working with the residents to decide how they want that spent. We just got the first payment of 2.75 million dedicated for that hamlet. And I know folks want to do a lot of good stuff with that. So right now, you still have the people that don't think that it's, you know, anything, but the town has embraced this project. And early on, the folks that sat, you know, on the town board embraced it as well. So that was a big push, but we really needed that also outside group to advocate.
Yeah, that's so far all phenomenal news. And it's rare. It's rare in a project of, you know, any scale size, you know, for really there to be just a good, happy ending that seemed to, I don't know, go on schedule for the most part. Obviously, I know there's always pushback in any given project, whether positive or negative, but that's honestly all great news to hear.
Yeah, if I can, I hate to take up the time on this, but can I share my screen for 1 second, just show 2 slides that I show folks?
Absolutely.
I just want to do this so quickly because I'm so sorry to take up too much time, but here is the construction route. While this is where the transition joint bay, where that offshore jump boat that actually raised itself was feeding the cable offshore, 85 feet underneath the beach, came into here. This is where the joint, where it joined together with the onshore cable. This is how the installation of a cable looked. It looks absolutely no different than, you know, water main. That's the size of the cable. It's only 19 inches around. And people made it seem like the information made it seem like it was going to dig up the entire street and do horrible things. And here's my favorite picture. So you see the before, that's Beach Lane and Wainscott, and here's the after. So what's visible, this is a farm. What's visible is 3 manhole covers.
Wow. And was that all your opposition right there, all those homes?
Not just there, all the way up through the substation, but Mr. Lauder, who has a house down there, and a lot of those folks were part of the larger opposition group. But I also have an idea that there was a fossil fuel component behind all that as well.
Kate, you should be a spokesman for the Hogland Group. I think they would love to have that testimony.
Oh, Hogland, I only have wonderful, I mean, I was getting complaints by people constantly, you know, oh, they're not supposed to start construction until 7 o'clock, but they're standing here. You know, they drove a truck down. They're not supposed to drive one pickup truck down. And the responsiveness of Hogland and the entire team was amazing. I mean, they addressed every complaint, and if they couldn't come to a settlement, like a very big anti-wind farm person, a climate change denier that lives down there, didn't like, they took before and after pictures of driveways. They had to restore everything to as it was or better, and in every case they did better. And they also knew this is a very important, you know, project. We were really holding their feet to the fire, and they were too, because they didn't want to screw this one up. It was the first one. But he didn't like the size of the gravel that they put back in his driveway. He refused to accept anything, and they actually offered him $9,000 to do it whatever way he wanted, and he turned that down as well. So, you know, those types of responses are baked into the permit. So it's not something they came up with. There's already a process in place with outreach. Everything was defined at the Article 7 process, which made it very easy for us.
If I could just chime in just as a comment about Kate and East Hampton. I've known Kate for a year or so, and East Hampton by far is the most progressive community on Long Island. And this is the fact that you're talking about this offshore wind is just another milestone in their work. They've done so much other things that are leading Long Island into clean power. So my hat's off to East Hampton and certainly to Kate for being a part of this. Great job.
Thanks, Simon. You know, but we're also driven by the fact that we're a coastal community that's, you know, really already impacted by the impacts. We have severe deforestation, which is now becoming tinder and road hazards with the southern pine beetle infestation. And I'm just in the process of completing an RFP for coastal engineers to rebuild beaches, iconic beaches out in Montauk that weren't covered by the Army Corps of Engineer project. We're impacted. We're seeing damage, significant damage. So that drives it as well. But the people like Gordian who came before me, they were visionaries.
I would also say that East Hampton, I would think, and you can confirm this, has the longest coastline of any town in New York State. Because of the fact that the way that it's configured, it's really down out there in the middle of the ocean almost. So again, hats off.
Thanks. Yeah, we don't have a lot of land to play with.
And I have a question for you, Kate, quickly. You know, with NYSERDA's, you know, thinking that the CEC communities might be gone in 2026, how much did that program influence the success of East Hampton?
Well, NYSERDA has been an incredible partner to us. So we have a $90,000 budget. We have about, let's see, about 28,000 year-round residences, year-round resident people, and then we get about 100,000 over the summer. So we're strained on every level for, you know, we have to keep our budget tight. We have to stay under the 2% tax cap. We have to protect the economic resiliency of our constituents as well. So without NYSERDA grants that come through these programs, I don't think we could have done the HVAC upgrades. I mean, the list of NYSERDA grants for my town, I can't even remember everything that we've done with them. So those programs are crucial for small towns like us to be, and I think any town, because with everything we talk about, and I always bring this up now because it's something that's really, since I've been elected, has really come home to me. It is all about the funding.
Wow, I think we need to put that in the comments section. That's great. Thank you. Anything else? And we do have a new participant. Manna, are you able to introduce yourself?
Yes, I am at an Ulster Core conference, but I'm Manager Green. I'm the legislator from Rosendale. on the Ulster County Legislature, and Ulster County is actively working to achieve 70% renewable energy generation with storage and efficiency by 2030. And I know the wonderful work going on out on Long Island, and we'll be learning from that and from others, but we'll also be modeling how to do this municipality by municipality. And we're also using the Scenic Hudson solar mapping tool to be sure that the implementation is done wisely, so that we're not cutting down core forests or paving over prime farmland, but we do support agrivoltaics.
Wonderful. Thank you. Welcome. We're so happy to have you part of this network.
Yeah, one of my heroes, Manna Green, from Climate Reality Project. I also, recruited my colleagues on the town board and on the trustee board to climate reality training. So that helped as well.
All right. Well, thank you all. And without